Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today, instead of doing a review, we're going to do a side-by-side comparison of two very affordable alternatives to the Omega Seamaster. Let's start out with the wrist check. I'm still wearing my Invicta 1953. I should be reviewing this one soon. And Grego is wearing my Benyar BY 5174. That looks a lot like a Panerai. I had to take Grego to the dentist. I saw him holding his mouth and asked him what was wrong. He pointed to one of his molars and said, "I have a very bad feeling about this." Here are the watches. We have a Liege Design 8936 and a Ben Nevis BN 3016G. Once again, both of these watches are homages to the Omega Seamaster. These are both very, very affordable watches, around the $20 range. I didn't know I was going to compare the two when I ordered them, or I would have got the Liege on the bracelet, because the bracelet was an option, but I got the silicone strap instead. On the Ben Nevis, though, the bracelet was the only option. I paid $21.99 for the Liege and $19.33 for the Ben Nevis. And the Liege came in a box, and the Ben Nevis just came wrapped in bubble wrap. I was kind of disappointed with both of these watches, which is why I decided to do this side-by-side comparison rather than a full-blown review of each watch. This is my third Ben Nevis, and I actually like the other two Ben Nevises considering the price. And this is my third Liege, although my other two Lieges were not three-hand quartz. The Ben Nevis is a 41mm and the Liege is a 43mm. And oddly enough, though, the Ben Nevis has a 22mm lug and the Liege has a 20mm lug. So the bigger watch has the smaller strap. Both watches have a 60-click unidirectional bezel. And the action on the Ben Nevis isn't too bad. You can really hear the clicks. And there's a back plate, yeah, but this is a $20 watch. The Liege, on the other hand, this is the worst bezel action I've ever seen of any watch I've ever reviewed. You can barely feel the clicks. Really bad. I mean, the back plate is so bad, you can feel like if you push hard enough, you could probably move it past a click going backwards. Really bad bezel action. Plus the scallops on the Liege are really small. On the Ben Nevis they're much larger and look a lot better. Both movements hack, and both movements have really loose crown action. It makes setting the hands really difficult. Here, let me show you on one. Pull crown out, and then when you go to push in it really moves, so it's really hard to get it precise when you push in the crown. In fact, when I do it, I like to kind of hit it real fast, and sometimes it will not move. And the Ben Nevis is practically identical. It's got the same really loose crown action. You go to push it in and it starts moving on you. Really hard to set accurately. Then both second hands missed the marks. They're a little bit misaligned. When I unboxed the Ben Nevis, I originally thought it was hitting the marks, but no, you can see they miss them by just a little bit. And the same thing with the Liege. The Liege is missing it by quite a bit more. Both have unsigned push-pull crowns and snap-on case backs. The Liege case back actually looks kind of nice. Here, let me unbuckle the strap and show you. See, it's got a, oops, upside down. It's got a nice look to it. It says all stainless steel. Well, that's a lie. We know darn well that this case is not stainless steel. It's chrome plated. The Ben Nevis is at least honest. It says stainless steel case back. Yeah, stainless steel case back. So the Ben Nevis is at least honest. The Ben Nevis has the date at the 6, which is a lot more like an Omega. And the Liege has the date at the 3. Of course, the hour hand's covering it. Let me move that hour hand. There's the date. The Liege has a gold border and the Ben Nevis has a white border. The Ben Nevis hands look more like Omega hands, but man, look at that hour hand though. Look at that little tiny loom dot. Really tiny. Then the Liege doesn't look as much like an Omega, but they're much more prominent. So I like the Liege better than this tiny little dot here on the hour hand. The blue dial on the Ben Nevis has this nice little wave pattern, but the blue on the dial is so dark that it almost looks black. It would have been nice if the color would have matched the bezel a lot better. The Liege also has a wave pattern, but as you can see, it looks more manufactured, not as natural looking as the Ben Nevis. The Liege logo looks kind of cheap when you look at it up close. It looks really artificial. It doesn't look at all like natural gold. I mean, of course it's not gold, but it doesn't even look like it. The Ben Nevis logo though looks a little bit nicer. It's printed on. Not trying to be anything that it's not. The Liege has a silicone strap with quick release. Once again, I wish I would have got the bracelet just for comparison purposes, but when I ordered it, I thought the silicone strap would be just more fun. One bad thing about getting really cheap watches with bracelets is often the bracelets are really bad. The Ben Nevis, this 5-link bracelet is really just a single link. These links are fake. The sizing links have push pins and not screw-in pins. And it was kind of difficult to push the pins out to size it. I had to remove 2 links to fit on my 7.5-inch wrist. As you can see, these links are fairly small, so if you have a really big wrist, you're not going to be able to wear this. Here's the Liege on my 7.5-inch wrist. I mean, it doesn't look too bad. It fits nice. I mean, nobody's going to mistake this for a real Omega. But it's comfortable. And here's the Ben Nevis on my 7.5-inch wrist. As you can see, the bracelet has no micro adjust. Here we are in the loom room doing a side-by-side comparison of the 2 watches. So let's go ahead and charge them and kill the lights. As you can see, it's not even close. The Liege just totally blows away the Ben Nevis. The Ben Nevis is almost faded already. Not that the Liege loom is great, it's just that the Ben Nevis loom is so bad that it makes the Liege loom look wonderful. What do I like about the Liege over the Ben Nevis? Well, I like the size. I just like a little bit bigger watch, and I like the 43 millimeters over the 41. I think the Liege has a nicer looking case back. Not that anybody cares. And when it comes to the loom, it's not even close. The Liege just totally blows away the Ben Nevis when it comes to the loom. And I like the fact that the Liege actually came in a box, where the Ben Nevis just came in bubble wrap. And what do I like about the Ben Nevis over the Liege? Well, the bezel action. Not even close. The Ben Nevis bezel action is so much better. The Liege bezel action is just god-awful. I like the dial too. I like this consistent wave pattern that goes across the whole dial, rather than these broken waves of the Liege. And I like the 6 o'clock date window. I think it just looks more like an Omega that way. And the Ben Nevis also has price going for it. It was $3 cheaper than a Liege would be on an equivalent bracelet. What are my gripes and groans about both watches? Well, the loose crown action. It makes setting the watches is accurately really a chore. A real chore to set the watches accurately. Don't like that one bit. Well, which watch is better? This is a tough one. The Liege is so much better than the Ben Nevis in every case except for the bezel action. The bezel action of the Liege is so bad that I have to give it to the Ben Nevis just for that purpose. The Liege would have been better if the bezel was fixed because the action is so bad. Do I recommend either watch? No. I'm getting tired of these really cheap quartz watches that have really loose crown action, and that makes it really hard to set the watch. The whole point of these ultra affordable watches is, well, at least it tells the time accurately, but if you can't set it accurately, what's the point? Especially when I just reviewed a similarly priced Benyar with a Miyota movement that you could set just fine. Well, thank you for watching my comparison of these two Omega Seamaster homages. Be sure and like and subscribe to my channel, and I will be back with another review. Bye.